Tunganita de estrella. Bienvenido sea mi buen hermano Tomás Mock en este encuentro entre hermanos y entre estudiantes del gran trabajo. It gives me a deep pleasure, my beloved brother Thomas, to welcome you with my star rattle and the cosmos into this space of sacred dialogue between us. Thanks for showing up, brother.
Absolutely. Feels like we're coasting through the cosmos with that background.
Certainly. So, with this support behind us, before us, to our left, to our right, to the above and to the below and within, most importantly, I have two questions to present for you.
Okay.
So your answers will be illuminating medicine and Nihushanku, ritual feeding for the listening audience interested in apprenticing this great tradition. The first question is, what initially drew you into the practice of Pachacuti Mesa tradition shamanic arts?
Well, I was drawn into this tradition like 20 years ago now. So if you'd asked me 20 years ago, my answer would probably be a little different than it is now with hindsight. But clearly at the time, I was searching for a spiritual path, more important, a spiritual community that could become a safe container for me. So I could, as you've often said, grow my soul. I had a real desire to grow into my spirituality. I grew up in a rural farm in rural Vermont, Irish Catholic background. My parents had priesthood in my future for me. I started having contact and initiations with spirits when I was 6 or 7 years old. And it continued all through my childhood and into my teens. And for me, I didn't have a familial, cultural, community container to explore or talk about those experiences at all. And at times I felt frightened and worried that I must be insane. And there was no safety around me to really explore it. So by the time I found my way to this tradition, which was about 20 years ago, that's what I was hungry for. And, you know, the first time I met you and came into community, you know how they say sometimes falling in love, you just know? Well, I just knew. When you welcomed me and said to me, "Welcome home, brother." And I said, "You don't know me." And you said, "Welcome home, my dear brother. It's good to see you again." I knew I was home. And that's what attracted me. It was having a container of other like-minded people who allowed me to explore my soul's journey, my spiritual experiences, and feel safe, loved, held, supported. That's what attracted me to the community, to the tradition.
Thank you for sharing that beautiful process that began with your own experiences of touching into the sacred, to the divine, to the otherworldly in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Motivated you to move beyond the organized religious context of your upbringing and find yourself hungry for a more inclusive vision and vocation of how to be of service through the spiritual arts. And I know your background, and you also are quite masterful in other traditions that you apprenticed in. Yet when you arrived into the hoops of this shamanic life, you remembered yourself. And that is a very important dimension of how to be a teacher of these arts without taking yourself too seriously. Being able to step out of the way and allowing the love that you experienced in the community of equals to inform your service to the same. So I commend you on that, brother, and thanks for showing up.
Thanks for being there.
I have another little question for you, brother.
Yes.
This is a little deeper. In what most significant manner has your own life transformed, evolved, expanded as a result of being sanctioned as a teacher of the Pachacuti Mesa tradition?
Good question. There's different parts to that. It's not obviously that there's not a singular answer to that good question. And I think I'd have to start with a little more simpler response, which is, you know, the old saying, the teacher needs students to learn. If there's one way that it has helped me grow and expand, it's by having the opportunity to be a teacher in this tradition. And every single time I have the opportunity to teach and to share, my knowledge grows deeper, my comfort levels grow deeper, my ease of moving in and out of ceremony and allowing, you know, spirit to just move through me, all of that just gets easier and deeper every time I have a chance to teach. I think that in terms of expansiveness, I mean, it's brought me purpose in a meaningful way. This question for me is definitely connected to the first question, because, you know, now that I have a community where I feel supported and I feel safe and I've been able to grow in my experiences, both as an individual and as a teacher, it's given me purpose in being able to be that container for other people. Going back to that first question again, you know, my experience as a child and as a teenager, again, it was not easy. At times I was very overwhelmed and frightened and did not feel safe talking about any of the woo-woo stuff to anybody. There's nothing better now as a sanctioned teacher to be sitting in a room full of weirdos and be able to share our experiences and explore those with an open heart. And for me to see those lights come on when students or apprentices are remembering themselves in the context of the whole, and seeing that light come on and seeing that peace come over their face and see tears of joy as they remember. And now they feel safe to start stepping in deeper and, you know, taking a little bit more of a risk about being themselves in their true ways. That kind of purpose and meaning has been very rich for me in my life. It's meant a great deal for me to be able to help in that way. And to be able to start seeding communities of people. Because when you get to do the apprenticeship, you work with a group in a community, and you hope that they find ways to continue on well beyond the 5-weekend apprenticeship. And I've seen that happen, and I can just look around the entire Northeast region and see the legacy of my ability to be honored by being a teacher, and people gathering and doing ceremony and carrying on the work. I mean, that feels very meaningful to me. It's a joy.
Good medicine, brother. Thank you for sharing that. And the message that feeds me with what you just said is the fact that you found a home, as you said in response to the first question, in which you could be seen. And being seen was a catalyst for your growth and coming into an acceptance of your skills as somebody who did not need to suppress the contact they had with non-ordinary realities. And as a matter of fact, by embracing your weirdness, your non-ordinary way of perceiving reality, you were liberated, you grew, you evolved as a soul. And that was very transformative. And you were able to take that transformation and weave it into the medicine that you offer the community of earnest aspirants of the great work. And that dynamic, full of feedback, full of being mirrored for your own sanctity and seeing sanctity mirrored in the community and individuals, is the great evolution that is needed on this planet.
It's good medicine.
It is beautiful. And I feel that you are an exquisite representative of that reflecting surface, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any last words you'd like to share before we close?
I can't think of anything more. It's just been an honor to be a part of this community. It's good to be home.
Mwah.